facilitator for learning. So I'm going to get started today with guiding you through a brief experiential learning exercise. So I'm going to ask all of you to please extend both arms like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and count to 3. And I'm going to say power clap, 1, 2, 3, and all of us together will clap. All right? So once again, I'll say power clap, 1, 2, 3, and we'll clap. All right? Are you ready? Yes. Yes. All right, power clap, 1, 2, 3. All right, very cool, very good, very good. But you know what? You can do better. Can you do better? Yes, you can, of course you can. So let's get ready, arms out. Power clap, 1, 2, 3. Much better already, very cool. We're gonna do it one more time. This is the last time. And you're amazing. You are just amazing. So I know you can do better. And furthermore, this is it. This is the last time we get to do this together, right here. So this is the moment to do it just the best you can. Let's get very loud. Let's get very powerful. Power clap. 1, 2, 3. Yes, much better. Somebody got ahead of us over there. That's fine. Somebody was eager. That's good. That's good. So I love this exercise because for me, it perfectly illustrates what I call the power of possibility. What is the power of possibility? The ability to create an opportunity to enable others to create their own opportunities, to turn the impossible into possible. So let's talk a little bit about this activity. First, my observation. Huge difference between the first clap, which was good, to the very last clap, which was so loud and powerful. Two things that I believe help to get us to arrive to that place. First one, I was continuously up here telling you that you could do better. I could have stopped the first time, and that's as far as we could have gone. But I told you you're amazing. I told you I believe in you. I told you we can do better, we can get louder, and we did. So lesson number 1, believe in yourself and believe in others. Because I also believe from the very beginning, I've done this activity before, that I could get you to that point. Now, lesson number 2. And for me, this is always like a very curious thing that happens when I do this activity. The very last clap that we did together, it was so loud, right? It was very powerful. Why didn't that happen the very first time if all of you, all along, were capable of doing that? Right? Think about it. It's not like I brought in more people here suddenly and there were more of us so we could sound louder, or it's not like you grew stronger and you were suddenly like just able to clap harder, right? You were capable of doing this right from the beginning, and yet it didn't happen until I told you this is the moment to do it. And oftentimes in life, we spend, waiting for those moments that are gonna take place and are gonna take us for us to do our very best. So for me, lesson number 2 is every moment is the moment to do your best. And that's how you turn the impossible into possible. 3 quick impossible stories about myself. I was in middle school at the time living in Mexico City. And I recall my English teacher writing an extensive letter to my mom. Your son will never learn to speak English. No way, no how, impossible. I was never going to be able to do it. A couple years go by. I'm a senior in high school right here in Seattle. And I'm sitting across my counselor, and she tells me, Luis, college is not for you. And I remember being heartbroken. I mean, college was the only thing that I wanted to accomplish for myself and my family. And now it was impossible for me to do it. A couple years go by. Now I'm on my last year at the University of Washington, and I come up to a group of friends very excited, and I'm like, I have this amazing idea. You guys have to hear this. You know, all this time how I've been going out there, speaking at classrooms and mentoring students and doing public speaking and doing workshops. I'm going to turn that into a business. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to travel across the country, I'm going to motivate students, I'm going to work with educators, I'm going to impact education, and together we're going to close the opportunity gap. And my friends are nodding, my mentors are like, yeah, very cool. But Luis, shouldn't you think about getting a real job? You cannot do this, this is not for you, get real. How often do we hear those things? Too often, if you ask me. Each one of them building a barrier of impossibility for us. And yet here I am, speaking English, with an accent, but speaking English. I did go to college, and I'm working a job that I love, but more importantly, that I created. So the impossible is very possible. Now, when I work with students and adults alike, oftentimes these three ideas, these three things that we're being told, you cannot do it, this is not for you, get real. Judgment, doubt, reality, are continuously holding us back. And oftentimes what it boils down to is that for a lot of us, we end up believing the following. We have to fit in a place that already exists, or we don't fit in at all. Because we cannot do it, because it's not for us, because it's not real to think otherwise. So let's shift that paradigm, and let's use those two lessons from the previous activity to do that. The first one being, you have to fit in one place. Well, let's take that out of the way and say, I fit in everywhere. Because I believe in myself, and because I believe in others. Because I accept myself, and I accept others. And in doing so, the question of where do I fit, how do I fit, is no longer relevant. Let's throw that away. I fit in everywhere because I fit in the place where it matters the most, right here. Let's take the second portion. I have to fit in a place where it's already there, that already exists. Well, that's very limiting. Let's instead talk about creating places of opportunity, right? And this is where the second lesson, every moment is the moment to do your very best, comes in very handy. Because if every single moment you're giving your best and doing your best for yourself and for others, guess what? You unleash possibility. You unleash dreams. You unleash everything. And suddenly, people who no longer believe that they could do something, by just being around you, they're energized. And they go from this to this. Because every moment, you're doing your very best. So the idea turns into, I fit in everywhere because I create opportunities for myself and others. And that right there is how you unleash the power of possibility, to turn the impossible into possible. So, yeah, Luis, that sounds like a very nice idea, and it sounds fancy. But how do you actually go about doing it? So when I come across students who tell me I cannot do this, whether it's math homework or writing an essay, applying to college, I give them what I call the I Am Possible challenge. And I follow the 3 I's approach. I imagine, I innovate, I impact. So I'll briefly cover each one of the essential ideas behind each one of these steps. I imagine is about getting rid of this idea that you cannot do something, right? Judgment hinders creativity. Let's get rid of that. Let's just write down all those amazing, impossible ideas that everybody ever told you that you could not do. Let's just write them down. And let's go about just, when you write those down, let's even think bigger. Let's push it. All right, perfect. We're going to do that. And we're no longer going to believe that you cannot do something. You can do anything and everything. Now, innovation. And the innovation aspect, a lot of times when I talk to students or I talk to adults about it, they're like, you know, innovation is kind of one of those things that only entrepreneurs do. I'm like, no, every single one of us is capable of innovating. And it's all about getting rid of the idea, right, that something is not for us, like innovation, right? As a matter of fact, every time that I come across with someone who tells me, oh, that's not for me, I'm like, oh, you have to try it. You have to try it. If you come across something that is not for you, the more reason for you to try it. Because that's how you grow, and that's how you innovate, by tackling those things that are not supposed to be for you. I'll give you a quick example. With a lot of my students who become the very first ones to go to college in their families, or to graduate from high school even, they are forever changing the histories of their families. And from that moment on, their families are never going to be the same. Somebody came and innovated everything in the story of their families. And that happens when you try something that is not for you, like me going to college. The last one, impact, is about once you imagine something big and you went on to try it, right? Because it's not only about imagining, you have to put some action behind that. And you did it, right? At that point, one of the things are going to happen. You are either going to fail or you're going to succeed. If you fail, my question for you is, how will you learn from this experience so that you can grow? Because with the right mindset, and I always tell this to students and adults alike, with the right mindset, failure is the best thing that can happen to you. I know that to be true for me. And then you can go on to grow from the experience, learn from it, and you go at it again, and you improve. Now, if you succeed, my question for you is, well, the first one, there's really two aspects of this, but the first one is, if you're finding success too often, you have to change things up because you're getting too comfortable. So it's time to step it up, fail a little bit more. If you found great success, how are you going to impact those around you so that they can be successful as well? And especially for everyone who's here in this room right now, I'm not telling you to go and become a teacher or a principal. You don't have to travel all across the country speaking in classrooms like I want to. But I do hope that you realize that for every one of you here right now, there's a student out there who's waiting for you to tell them that it is possible. They're waiting for you. And that's your impact. That's how you can transform. The greatest thing that you can do with your education is to give it to others. So I'm going to conclude with a brief story. Today, I invited two people that I admire, that I love. I think the world of them. They're my mentees, Mark and Dulce, and they're sitting right here in front. And when I met Mark and Dulce at different points, they were in high school. And the two of them approached me with a question that right away intrigued me. Do you think it's possible for me to go to college? Yes, I said right away, right? But I knew that was just the beginning. And I knew I was going to have to work with them to make this happen. So I did. I believed in my own potential to be able to change their lives. And I believed that they were capable of doing it. I gave them my very best every single moment. Whether it was when we were sitting down to write a personal statement or talking about high school graduation requirements, I give them my best. They are freshmen here now at the University of Washington. And just a couple days ago, when I brought a group of high school students here, I saw the two of them doing the same thing that I did for them. They were doing it for someone else. And they were unleashing that movement of possibility for other students. That, for me, right there, is my biggest success. It's never going to live inside of me. It's going to live in places and in things that people like Mark and Dulce will come to do with their lives. That, for me, is truly the power of possibility. And last but not least, there is one more lesson that we can walk away with from the exercise that we did earlier. So be ready. Be ready. Power clap, 1, 2, 3. All right. The last lesson is that you always have to be ready. And I know that you're ready. A student is waiting for you out there, for you to be able to tell them the impossible is possible. Thank you very much.